Hi all. Hi Chris. So we're going to use the Twitch stream method. Hopefully less adverts this time for this final game of the World Championship, which was the final classical time control game. Game 12 was today. Can you see the board, Chris? Yeah?
No.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
I still have the cat and mouse picture.
All right. Hopefully we'll get Chris viewing this board in a few seconds. So it was a 12-game match, and it was the 12th game today. So we're going to enter. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to say the result of the game. I don't want to spoil the result of the game. Sorry, you might not know the result of the game.
you already did this in a way, but
no, we can't spoil the result of the game. No, it's a mystery. Yes, let's see. No, keep it a mystery. Yeah. But so Anand was playing white, and played e4, and okay. Any news on the chessboard yet, Chris?
Yeah, now I've got a board and I got 1e4, so
okay, cool.
I think we are on the way.
Okay.
Yeah, 1e4, and if you look back at it now at those 12 games, of course Anand had 6 white games. He played 3 times e4, 3 times d4, and it's quite surprising actually if you think about it. He played those 3 d4 games. He won the last one. With the help of this f3 system, and after that he played only 2 games with e4. It's quite surprising, I think, that he wouldn't try d4 anymore. But okay, he most likely had some new ideas in store here. So we got the Sicilian again. So Gelfand sticks to his preparation.
96 start of invitation for Svezhnikov, which is declined with the anti-Svezhnikov bishop b5. This is one of the reasons I didn't like the Svezhnikov much anymore, because bishop b5 as well as all the theory. So this Rosalimo system. And now e6 again was chosen, and now again immediate exchange on c6, and then b takes. So this all happened before, but now. Was this a different move, d3? Was this identical as well?
Yeah, d3 is the new move for this match in game 10. The white game before that, officially played b3 and was surprised by this
e5, wasn't it?
Almost novelty e5.
Yeah.
And now he went d3, which is, I think, the main move. The idea of playing d3 here and not castling, for instance, is to still have this h4 option, which also will be happening in the game. And well, because very often, if you look at Black's setup here, he doesn't really want to play knight to f6, but most often he would go to g6 with his knight, and then this h4 idea is really something to consider, to try to kick this knight with h4, h5.
Yeah.
So this is why he plays d3, sort of keeping these options open.
Oh, that's very clever, and actually it never occurred to me he's waiting for this, just to kick the knight, leave the rook on h1. That's ingenious. So the beauty and excitement of the game is all behind the scenes here in this game, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, d3 is just a normal kind of move. Now, so I'm not sure what played, 97 or d6?
Yes, 97. And again, another waiting move, b3. So, well, he can pounce on g6 with bishop b2 now, but also he can pounce on knight g6 with h4, can't he now? So,
yeah, I'm not sure if this b3 move is new or it's most likely not a novelty, but it's I think I'm not quite sure. I only saw this the press conference with sort of Yeah, just one ear, so to say. I didn't listen to it too closely because I was a bit sick about this game. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Black
yeah, it was a
played
bit.
d6 here. d6. So he's
Yeah,
aiming for that e5 that which we discussed in an earlier game to get that nice centre. And you mentioned the idea that one issue is if white disrupts black's pawn structure potentially and tries to establish a foothold with e5, and that was actually what was played. e5 here.
yeah, this is almost, yeah, maybe almost the only move that makes any sense here. If black gets to play e65, he's immediately fine.
Yeah.
So white needs to do this, but it's yeah, it's a pawn sacrifice.
If d takes, so you wouldn't play knight takes because of queen d4, I guess. That doesn't.
Yeah, it's always
That
this
doesn't work.
funny
Knight's
trick. Yeah.
protecting c6 or sorry, it's knight's hanging. There's no amazing bishop sacrifice here, is it? That would just be bad. I think.
No, sometimes there are tricks, and I think we discussed a similar line in the last game, but everything's also hanging with check here, and the knight hangs with check and so on.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't happen, but white most likely would play some other move instead of taking on e5, maybe bishop b2 or knight d2, some move to sort of knight d2 doesn't really threaten knight e5.
Because this pawn structure is quite fragmented here.
Yeah, but f6, f6, it's not too clear. I mean, they of course would have prepared this. Yeah, it was all played also very quickly by white, so it's clear that this was preparation. So not sure. I'm not so sure about bishop b2 because does the bishop really do much now on b2?
I see. All right, after f6, yeah, maybe just queen, maybe queen
and black
e2, and then bishop e3 to target c5 instead. Queen e2 maybe, and then bishop e3.
Yeah, maybe just bishop b2 is a kind of automatic move that.
Yeah, or just bishop e3, and I've seen Adams play in this system a maneuver like this. That would hit c5 as well. This sort of queen maneuver.
Yeah, bishop b3, yeah, but knight d5 I think would
knight
be
d5,
good.
yeah.
You don't want to give both knights, I guess. Both bishops, I guess. Yeah, it's not easy to tell.
Maybe just c4 then first, and then bishop e3, if that's technically. Oh, do you knight f5? No, I don't know. Okay, that's tricky. So,
not quite sure. I think there are multiple options.
Yeah.
Also, this bishop b2, it's not necessarily bad. It's just not quite clear how it would continue. One thing, if you look at the position d takes e5, bishop b2, f6, and then imagine white castling, rook e1, and then playing something like c3 and d4, like opening it up completely. This could be an idea also.
Yeah.
And it's a bit risky because black is really behind in development. So he didn't take, but played knight to g6, and this is also quite a logical move to not get too far behind in development.
And again, the pawn sacrifice was repeated, an invitation to win a pawn with h4, just to fracture black's pawn structure.
Yeah, and this was also played quickly, so it was all.
So we discover here, well, what would white do, and he just played knight d2 here, a pawn down, but with a fantastic potential blockade and pressure. Maybe bishop, but more likely bishop e3 sometimes, especially if there's no knight to pounce on the bishop. A bishop e3 to target c5 later.
Yeah, this is now quite nice from a structural point of view. So black has got two bishops, but they're both not doing so much. Especially the light squared bishop has got mostly one function here to exchange itself for a knight which appears on c4.
Yes.
So it's interesting. Yeah. At this point, I thought, okay, maybe we get a really interesting game here.
Yeah.
So, but now I think Gelfand invested almost 30 minutes and then came up with quite not quite sure how surprising this move is, but
c4, yes,
it's
pawn
like,
counter pawn sacrifice, immediately liberating the bishop across this diagonal, making way for potential c5s and bishop e7s potentially as well. So it's just trying to get the dynamism, these pawns out of the way for the bishops, and also this diagonal. But this diagonal can be used in emergency now. But we've seen this pawn sacrifice in many recent high-level games, haven't we? In this variation, I think I've seen a Karakin game recently in this with a c4.
Yeah, sometimes it happens in a position where black has a pawn on d5 and then plays c4. But this is like just giving it away for yeah. But okay, it's I guess a good move because it doesn't allow white to get into this kind of blockading strategy where he's got everything under control, and now at least black can activate his pieces. So if you look at the course of the game, I think it's most likely a good idea. So Anand now thought for a while and then took on c4 with a knight.
Yes, he did think for a while, and I predicted actually. I think everyone was predicting bishop a6, and then queen f3 was the prediction, and that came true here. Just seemingly, I thought it was with the intention of queen d5, queen g3, with an interesting game to justify this h pawn maybe, and with pressure points. But unfortunately, my expectation was shattered here after queen d5. I really didn't expect what happened here, which was a queen exchange. But it does win a pawn for white to go a pawn up. But queen g3 might be a viable alternative here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I didn't really see this phase of the game because they had some art documentary on, and I was doing some other stuff. So I'm not sure what would black play now. But the point is, okay, white will be a pawn up if he exchanges the queen as he did. White has an extra pawn, but it's really also quite obviously questionable if it's enough to really make something out of this. So this is of course more ambitious at first sight, but I'm not quite sure what would happen.
Here's
queen g3
fictional variation which amused me, which would never happen, but imagine bishop c3 here, bishop a3. This is just the fictional. I don't think there's enough compensation here. It was just something I had briefly amused myself with. Forget it. It was bishop b4 might have been an idea as well, but white avoids this whole thing by taking on d5. Okay, so the complexity of queen g3 remain a mystery. Unless you want to have a quick look, should we go on to the game?
It's of course also possibly dangerous for white. Yeah. It's I think the advantage of queen takes d5 of course is that you're quite likely not to lose the game.
Yeah.
And this queen g3 is sort of still playing for
a win.
Yeah, for 3 results. Yeah, you considering that you could maybe lose.
Right.
So queen takes d5 is maybe the kind of move which is preferred in those kind of last games in a match, but difficult really. Queen g3. I would also consider the move e4 here.
All right.
And just this would be my first instinct, to get rid of the double pawn and maybe open up the position here, but it's difficult. Maybe white can just castle. It's an interesting position. It's certainly not immediately obvious that it should be bad or anything. Bishop b4 is also very valid, what you suggested. First bishop b4 to get white to move his king.
Yes, bishop b4 here.
Yeah, this is interesting, and maybe the kind of stuff which would get played maybe in this kind of rapid games, or yeah, those I don't know, less important games. It's sort of risky, but this is kind of the way this whole match is progressing. It's very risk averse.
You can imagine King F1, maybe Castle Queen side, then what White cannot take on. Well, he has to protect G2. That would be a disaster. It's not going to happen. It's just fictional variation. But Castle and Queen side actually maybe taking on E5. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Oh no, taking on E5 is not possible.
Yeah, this can easily backfire on White. So
yeah,
the Queen on D5 is not a bad piece. Yeah,
it's quite powerful. Yes, hitting G2, and if Black can Castle Queen side, this pressure on G7 might be an illusion. So maybe this is the safe. This is definitely it's the safer choice, just to take the queens off, reduce the complexity of the positions quite considerably.
Yeah, and you've got an extra pawn after all. You can try in this position.
So capture towards the centre, rather than, well, actually they're both. That would be undoubling. The pawn's going to be taken anyway. So so Black wants to get maybe the C file pressure.
Yeah, he needs to get something on C2.
Yeah. So he takes with the C pawn. Okay, White takes the extra pawn now. Extra pawn up. But Black, and the commentators thought Black would be doing fine here with the two bishops. I think bishop d6 was mentioned, but actually e5 was played, and then after. So here White castled. I don't know. What do you think of e5? Do you think there are viable alternatives to e5?
Yeah, but yeah, e5 looks quite normal, doesn't it? I mean, is there some issue with e5?
Not particularly. so White castled now, and the king didn't need to manually automatically castle. The king just went to f7 here. So Black has the bishop here and potential for rook c8, but this c file is about to be shut down by White immediately.
Yeah, it's always notoriously difficult to get your pawns rolling against those bishops. It's very difficult, especially this a6 bishop, which might get to b7 and then on the long diagonal.
Yeah,
it's very annoying. I mean, it's clearly it's clear that Black has quite some compensation here. Yeah.
So c4 trying to shut down the c file, and now just bishop e7 here, just connecting rooks. Hello, rooks connected. So okay, and offering. Well, this pawn can't be taken. d3 would be horrible. So it's not taken. Instead, White plays bishop e3, eyeing a7, trying to restrict maybe the rook for a moment. Black definitely doesn't want to play a move like d4. The bishop would just that wouldn't help the bishops of Black to play d4.
No, you can just keep the tension here, White. You can, in this kind of positions, you can just check in terms of being equal, not playing for an advantage as Black. You just need to check if White can move any of his pawns, and he cannot. So if as long as you keep him from moving those pawns, you should be very fine. And also also some other things, like the king on f7 is quite quickly on e6 and helping in the center, and White has got the king on g1.
So bishop b7 here, and now White did kind of expose the d3 pawn, but Black is actually threatening horrible things now, like doubling here potentially, d4 and bishop f3. So actually c takes d5 was played here, and after bishop takes d5, White quickly went to the c file with rook fc1. So rook fc1 here, and maybe some players would be concerned about rook c7 in this position, but in fact a5 was played, So what do you think now about this position after rook fc1?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's easy here because this is part of the broadcast I was watching, and Kramnik just stated that a5 didn't make any sense to him, and he would have played rook c8.
Oh, really?
So a5, yeah, he said after a5, rook c7, and white can try a bit, but it's okay. It's a draw. He was pretty much sure that this would be a very drawish position. But he thought that a5 would be somewhat not the most accurate move.
Let's take a look at. You're going to lose a7 potentially, but it doesn't matter about that. I suppose taking a7 is bad, is it? Very bad.
Yeah, at the end you've got rook a8, rook and bishop b3.
Oh, maybe. Of course, bishop moves. Bishop
maybe.
I see. Oh, that's a backfire. You could end up considerably, maybe slightly worse. Yeah.
White can be very quickly worse. It's just easy. If you blunder one pawn, you're really bad in this position.
Yeah.
So also this even loses 2 pawns. A2 is gone as well.
Yeah. So in fact, okay. So a5, and now white just aimed to get rid of black's bishop pair with bishop c5, and not mind this doubling of pawns. For the moment, black, he just actually indirectly targeted d3 now, as if bishop f3 and d3 is targeting. And unfortunately for the spectators and everything, some were very disappointed on ChessGames.com, and also disappointed that the World Championship match will now be decided by Rapid. But unfortunately, bishop takes e7 and a draw was agreed. So some people blame that the match is too short. It should have been over 24 games. I don't know. What do you think? It has been a bit of. There have been much more exciting World Championship matches in the past.
Well, those people who won 24 games must be a bit maybe, yeah, masochistic or what.
No, but I think it would be this paradox that they were playing more interesting chess. I think the paradox was, but maybe this is because of engine preparation. But let's quickly mention this final position, how dry it is or otherwise. So we assume a recapture if they had played on, and what would be white's best move here?
Yeah, white's best move would be to just play on and then let show what he has for the pawn. I mean, if you give this to a computer, it will tell you really 0 0 0.
Yeah.
Really zero, just zero, amazingly. But well, why not just play this on? You've got a pawn, and let's say knight d2. I play knight d2, rook c3, and I just keep this pawn. And okay, black might get it back, but it needs to be shown. Okay, in the press conference, I wish he gave some line which he thought would be totally drawn, whatever. I don't know exactly what this line was.
Look, maybe d3 is an issue like this. If the bishop comes to f5, how does white defend d3?
It is an issue, yeah, it is an issue. But it's just if you. Well, I watched this part of the broadcast, and Kramnik was absolutely shocked that the game was over.
Really? He was shocked.
Yeah. Completely. I thought it was absolutely insane to draw this position, because white cannot lose. Gelfand had 10 minutes, Anand had 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like and Gelfand was just sweating there. You could look at him and see, he wasn't so. So at this point I was pretty sure that he would be, I don't know, tortured for like 2 hours or something. Maybe it is a draw, but white can offer the draw anytime and get it immediately.
What do you think about knight e1 as an alternative to knight
yeah,
d2? Because you want to keep d3, you can bring your king in, and the knight actually defends g2 as well as d3. Maybe this is an alternative plan. And then, yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, the problem is a bit like this a4 move also, yeah?
Yeah.
a4 and a4, b4, a3, and the a2 pawn is quite weak.
Yeah.
There are ideas. I'm not arguing that maybe black can draw this anyway, but it's really from a practical point of view. impossible to offer a draw here. It simply makes no sense to me. I can guarantee you that absolutely, if you give this position to Carlsen, he would never offer a draw. Never in 100 years. And if he plays 10 games, he would win 2 or 3 of them.
Sorry, with white, you definitely favour white with the extra pawn.
Yeah, maybe it is a draw. Maybe some people come up with a line, but why not let it show me? It's quite. I was really sick that they gave. I don't mind those short draws if there's nothing to play for. But
in the light of a4, I mean, these pawns are a sitting target. These 3 pawns for the light square bishop potentially and the rooks, and maybe So Anand realizes he has a huge superiority in rapid chess statistically, yeah, and he's been playing his moves a lot quicker in this match. So maybe he welcomes the rapid chess phase, and both players kind of win because Gelfand doesn't lose credibility in the long games that he held Anand in the long game match. And if he loses the rapid, then he loses the rapid. It's more like a lottery, the rapid. So he doesn't lose any credibility, does he? And also for Anand, he just wants the rapid because he knows he's got superiority. So they both kind of may be happy with the result to get into the rapids.
Yeah. Black is certainly happy here with the draw because he was just gifted this half point for nothing. It's just absolutely insane to make a draw here.
Okay, look, if
you can tell me whatever you want. Sorry, this kind of position, it's maybe a draw, but if I would have white here and some player with 2,600 would offer me a draw, I would just decline.
Hang on.
Because I cannot lose.
Let's have a quick blitz game or two from this position then. So you play white and I'll play black. So what move do you want to play?
No.
Go on. What move do you want to play? Knight d2 or knight e1? Go on, quick. 5 seconds a move. I'm going to go with this a4 plan because I quite fancy this for black. Go on. No? No, seriously, go on. Play a move for white. What would you play? Knight e1 or knight d2?
Okay.
Or just play a few moves as an example and then go back and maybe.
Okay, let's try. Okay, I need to think about this a bit. Yeah, of course. It's not. It's
I think it is tricky because of a4, as you mentioned.
No, I'm absolutely. The computer analyzed this position and said it is completely equal. So I don't doubt that, but it's not. It doesn't make any sense to. If you got 40 minutes extra on the clock, why would you offer a draw? It doesn't make any sense.
Are you sort of maybe this manoeuvre is attractive if you can get that to block the bishop? Is that one thing that attracts you? I just want to tease out what attracts you about the white position. It doesn't seem a very healthy pawn up. I don't know.
Yeah, but if I can keep it, I keep it. Yeah. What can you do? You can try this knight e1. It's very passive looking, but
so I play a4 as you mentioned. It looks dynamic. A4. We're coordinating here on these pawns.
Okay, maybe rook a b1.
So I get a rook infiltration. Then I take. You're going to take, yeah? I assume.
Yeah.
I guess. I suppose rook a2 doesn't really do anything. Hang on. What if I just pressurise that pawn with? Mind you, I've got to be careful about rook c7s, haven't I?
There are rook c7s. You can also consider just rook b2 and rook c2 b1. It's just the pawn. I mean, you might get it back. You might. It's not like you can play any move and draw.
You're right. Yeah.
It's not. If someone watches this video, gives this into a computer, it might show a line which is completely equal. But he had 40 minutes extra. This was move 22, and Gelfand would have need to play 18 moves in 12 minutes. It's not a terrible time trouble, but maybe there are some things coming up. And how should white lose? It's not possible.
It's not possible for white to lose. Hold on. Okay. So if I play king d6,
the worst what could happen is I could lose the b3 pawn.
Yeah.
And then I'll draw this against anyone. Yeah, really, because it's nothing happening.
Yeah.
It's really, maybe you're right, and it's completely drawn and everything's cool, but I don't think that Vichy really wants. I mean, he doesn't mind the playoff, of course, because he cannot do anything and now to prevent it. But this is not like a regular rapid game in Monaco where you play just for money and basically it doesn't matter if you lose or win. And he can lose this title with just one blunder in a rapid game. So I'm not sure. It's quite hard to understand why this should be done.
But historically, he's been the fastest GM ever. He's been playing long games in his youth really, really quickly, hasn't he?
Yeah, sure. And I don't doubt that he's the better rapid player, but it's still a different situation because it's really much more at stake than usually. It's more, I think, a matter of your nerves than the abilities and skill is of course important, but the nerves are very important, and you never know what might happen there.
Yeah.
Now, if you would force me to bet any money, I would bet it on Gelfand, 100%.
Let's flip the board again. Let's go back. Yeah, maybe you're right then. Okay, maybe White. Well, maybe, but actually, Anand's been world champion. He's done that. He's got the T-shirt. Yeah, so maybe the nerves are not going to be as much as Gelfand. Yeah, he's, yeah.
One thing that is absolutely clear after this match that we won't have any matches anymore without anti-draw rules. Because this is just unacceptable. I think it's not acceptable that out of they played 12 games, they had 2 decisive games. You cannot do much about.
I think I've got a fire alarm going. I think we're going to have to cut it short. Sorry, I think there's some smoke or something. No, it stopped. Okay, no, we're okay. Sorry, house is not on fire yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, they had 12 games. 2 were decided, and 10 draws. I mean, the number of draws is. In a way, not too surprising, but you cannot really, I think, tolerate out of 10 drawn games that there are 9 games around 25 moves.
I guess, yes. I think a lot of people are disappointed it wasn't most exciting. I think the most exciting World Championship match ever seems to be the 1972 match at the peak of the Cold War. The political tensions around the games, because the media really grabbed hold of it. Being centrally located at Reykjavik between the old, USSR and States, the political tensions of the match. The match became more than a chess match.
Of course, you have those kind of matches are always more interesting in a way, or spectacular if you have got really two persons that are really completely opposite to one another, and it doesn't really help. The kind of fighting atmosphere of a match if the 2 players are too friendly. It's I think it fits both players' personalities that they after the game do a quick they often talk briefly about the game, and this is all very, very nice. But if you want to have it's just more spectacular and more interesting if the players don't really like each other, or there are even political things behind this. Even if you just 2 years ago when Anand played Topalov, it was also a completely different thing.
Yes, tension, atmosphere. Okay, all right. Okay, so we'll try and cover some of the rapid games then, shall we? Those might be really exciting. You never know when they come up on Wednesday. Yeah,
maybe it's possible. You never know. Those the quicker time control might help both players to make some mistakes, and for once maybe they try to play a position out. The thing is, this is really a difference between. If you look at Carlsen's games and these games, I guarantee you those 10 draws, he would play on these positions and win 2 of them. Really,
that's possible because
he's so tenacious and always goes on and finds some things that they need to solve over the board, and sometimes they don't manage, even if especially if the time gets a bit low and so on. and somehow I'm a bit disappointed in the. Yeah, I'm not sure if a fighting spirit the right word, but just to press on and make and pressurize the opponent.
But are you sure? Actually, the temperature at the moment in both England and Germany is very, very high. Are you sure we're not just irritated by the temperatures at the moment we're experiencing as well? It's just, you know, sometimes we're irritated if it's really hot. It has been really hot today, and I haven't really been in a mood to even play chess. But anyway, I think I've got to go now before I get in trouble. So should we wrap it up here, Chris, and maybe carry on Wednesday?
Yeah, let's hope for an interesting playoff. We had a playoff in 2006 already for the title, and those games were also very, very, very tense. So we can be curious what happens in the tiebreak. So you can quote me. I would bet on Gelfand now. Maybe at the end.
Blimey. Okay, my favourite's actually Anand. I believe in his intuitive fast play, so I reckon he will win the playoff. But okay, we'll see then on Wednesday. All right.
All right.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe we can do a live stream of the games as they're being played. I don't know if you're around on Wednesday. Maybe we could try and do that.
Yeah, on Wednesday. I mean, first of all, the games start at 8 o'clock your time.
Oh right, it's a bit early. Sorry. No, maybe we're not both. Okay, we'll do them after.
Well, I'm at the office and need to earn some money.
Okay.
Okay.
All right then. All right. Okay, until Wednesday evening or whatever. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Hope somebody got anything on from this video on YouTube. That'd be cool. All right. See you Wednesday. And okay. Comments or questions on both our YouTube channels. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Cheers.